You all for joining us today. I'll start as always by giving each and every one of you 2-3 minutes, you decide, to tell our crowd what is it exactly that you do and what's your passion, what drove you into it, because you do a greater thing than just work. You all start.
Well, I'm Yoel Cheshin. I'm the chairman of tobe.vc. Actually, up until 10 years ago or so, I studied and taught philosophy in the university. I really enjoyed what I did. I did it quite well. I thought I would be a professor at the university. I came up with an idea of how to tackle the Israeli crucial and the biggest social problems in a better way. And I handed it out to my professor in corporate law. Her name was Irit Chaviv Segal. And then two things happened. Two people died. The first one who died was my brother, who was the businessman in the family, Shneur. And the other one was my professor, Irit. She died as well. So I did two things. For some reason, whom I don't completely understand, after my brother died, I became a businessman. And I founded tobe, where tobe stands for two brothers. And I decided not to write a PhD, but to implement it in the real world. And I came up with a concept of how to tackle social problems in a much better manner than what we do today. Unfortunately, I haven't succeeded yet, so there's a lot of work to be done. And that's it about it. So I have my VC, who is investing in impact technological startups, which I hope to invest in what I call double unicorns, something that brings great value to the world on one hand, and on the other hand, creates a great return for investors. And on the other hand, I'm really looking for ways to tackle social problems. I think we should do a deconstruction and reconstruction of the three for the government, social, and business sectors in a way that should be much, much, much more effective than what it is done today. So this is me in a nutshell.
I'm Chana Rado. I'm a social business entrepreneur in the far periphery for women and mothers. And I create equality opportunities and quality jobs in the far periphery. And when I say far periphery, I mean Tzfat, Mitzpe Ramon, Sderot, Yerucham, Ofakim, Mitzpe Ramon. And I hope that in the East Jerusalem, it's not far periphery, but it's periphery. And I'm the eldest daughter of 7 children family, of Holocaust survivors, that all our family died in the Holocaust. And I was very excited in the previews. Israel, for us, is the most important thing in the world. So it's like a part of our family, and the family is the most important, because after the Holocaust, we were alone. And so I know and I knew that I have responsible for Israel. And this is for Israel, and especially for women in Israel, because we are 51%, but we are not 51%. We are 5% maybe in the quality jobs opportunities. So I devoted my last decade, or more than my last decade, to change the reality in Israel.
She's being shy. I'll take. There is a reason why Nadav applauded. There is a reason. Chana does change the world. She spoke of women, but she does it also in the periphery in Israel, which is twice as hard. And she does deserve every word, because every good word, because many people speak, but those three actually do. And Chana is doing something which is against all odds every day.
So I'm Nadav Berger. I'm a bit biased because actually Chana recruited my brother-in-law to Strauss when she was a CFO. and we're neighbors, and I adore what she does. And I have 3 daughters, so for me and my daughters, Hannah is a role model. She's an amazing person. I'm here thanks to my grandfather. My grandfather came from Europe in 1934. He felt the tension, and he made Aliyah, and he started the oil business in Israel, unfortunately, edible oil. So over 3 generations, we were producing food. We became the largest producers of fats, oils, and margarines. We acquired a big brand. We did okay. We sold the business, and we're no longer food manufacturers. Always been an entrepreneur, never worked in a company, so always started companies all in food. And about 7 years ago, I got into food technologies. I founded the first food tech fund in Israel. And today we are launching our 3rd fund, anchored by Madame de Rothschild. The EDR is backing us, and we're forming our 3rd fund. It's all very connected, and I feel really privileged because my business partner is a Swiss. He lives in Dubai, and we invest globally. And this time, in this fund, which will be quite substantial, we have decided to do an impact fund. Food tech is impact. You don't need to do much. It's just the fact that you invest in tech to such a conservative industry, you make a difference. But for the first time, we took upon ourselves to measure it and even to bind part of our compensation to performances of our portfolio companies. So our 3rd fund, PickBridge, 3rd one, will be an Article 9 fund, which will be devoted to do an impact. Food tech, ag tech, and food tech is the most important actual way for us to make a change. We're losing the planet. We're losing people. Think about the 3 chronic diseases in the world. They come from food, right? Biovascular cancer, diabetes, it has to do with our nutrition. Our planet is dying because we're planting soy to feed animals that we eat. This is not sustainable. So we have to fix this. And only by investing in new technologies, we can make an impact. And food is the first and most influential place to do that.
But I'm going to stay with you, Nadav, for a second and ask you, why in Israel?
It's very interesting. I think that not like many of the speakers, and excuse me for not being politically correct, I don't think that we're smarter than anyone else, truly. I don't think that we can say words like our academia is amazing and so forth. No. The one thing that we do better, maybe, is the entrepreneurship. We dare. So 2 things. 1, great entrepreneurs, and 2nd, we act like a tribe. So for me to pick up the phone, Yoel's parents were friends of my parents. Hannah, I just disclosed already our connection. So we act as a community, as a society, as a tribe, helping each other. Within the food tech arena, there is a lot of competition within Israeli companies. But we have WhatsApp group for different themes. We help each other because we do not compete on a local basis. Israel entrepreneurs build things to go abroad and to bring it and make an impact globally.
I'll say differently what you've just said. I read somewhere that if you board an airplane if you board an airplane in the US and someone sits next to you, it will take between 6 to 9 chains until you know someone in common. In Israel, it takes you 10 seconds and you know everyone. So that's the difference. That's what you've been saying. Yoel, I'll go back to you. Yeah. And I ask you for the vision, because you spoke of the past and what brought you in. But what exactly do you foresee in the future? What do you want to see? And why, you spoke of being the businessman in the family after your brother died in a stupid, tragic accident, road accident. But you could do business. Why doing social? And why trying to do impact?
No, first, I'm here to make a profit. What I'm saying is that making a profit is not the real goal for me, it shouldn't be for any businessman. Because the true purpose of business has to be something far to exceed making a profit. Making the profit is not an end, it's a means to an end. Okay, this is one thing we should understand that. We should be called, other than the impact nation, we should be called the purpose nation. Any business can have a purpose, and by concentrating on the purpose, you make it an impact business. and you can go to regular businesses and look at them from a purpose perspective, and then from an impact perspective. And this is where the real revolution takes place. Not that we have like 10% of businesses that are doing impact, but actually all the businesses can do impact, and this is where the real revolution will come if we concentrate on purpose. This is like the next step of talking about impact. This is one thing. Second thing, you were talking about the fact that we're very small. We're like a small family. Another layer to it, and Yaakov Hatuel mentioned it before, we're all connected to the same forefather, Abraham. Okay? Abraham is like a word that it has been mentioned before as well. And Abraham is actually the most important entrepreneur of human race. Get thee out of thy country and out of thy father's house and out of thy kindred, something like that. Lech lecha מארצך וממולדתך ומבית אביך אל הארץ אשר אראך. And this is the inner call for the entrepreneur, to do a relocation and fulfill his own purpose. Okay, and this is where the establishment of Israel, this is the DNA of every Jew person. If in order to understand the Israelites, the people who work here, you need to understand this inner call for Abraham. Lech lecha מארצך וממולדתך ומבית אביך. Relocation. And what happened 3,000 years after? That you had millions of people doing a relocation, exactly like Abraham. So this echoes also with what Yaakov said. This is actually, the Zionism is a startup. The DNA of a startup is in our veins. This is quite unbelievable. And people are going backwards to Herzl, which is great. He's an amazing entrepreneur echoing Abraham. But when you look at all what happened back in ancient history, the legacy is heavy and so inspirational that you cannot believe. Yeah? Because you had someone who did a relocation, Abraham. And the Bible, in many aspects, is the R&D of morality and economy of the Western society afterwards. Actually, when you come to think of it, the Ten Commandments is the first operating system of human consciousness. Okay? And then you have Paulos, who is the best marketing guy who was spreading the word of Judaism. Christianity was Judaism in disguise, monotheism. So when you come to look at it, in Silicon Valley, you have the biggest platforms of the world, such as Facebook and LinkedIn. In Israel, you build civilizations. And this is why I believe this is so amazing to live in Israel right now. And the second floor of the Zionism is inspirational, and for the way I see it, much more interesting than what happened 100 years ago with Herzl and his friends.
Great. Chana, I go back to you, and you spoke of your morals. What drives you to do that? Everything that you do regarding women, I mentioned periphery, etc. But how do you do it? Because it's not always easy, and you don't always get support, mainly governmental support, because it's Israel, and you have to fight, and sometimes you have to drag the officers to cooperate with you, and many times you feel like you're fighting the world for a change.
Yes, yes, but I succeed. So, yeah. I think, okay, what I'm doing, I find location in the far periphery, or maybe the location finds me. This is better situation, like men and women. And then I find a woman CEO. This is the best important thing. I have now 7 CEOs in the far periphery. Yeah, I try to correct the word. And then I try to find 1 million shekel, because this is the seed money that I need to create company with 50 people in the far periphery. And 50 people in the far periphery, it's wow, in quality jobs. There are places that we have call centers, and that's all. We don't have other opportunities. And then, okay, I find companies from the center of Israel, because I believe that without the far periphery, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem will not be. And so I find companies that want to work with us. And this is the reason we have now more than 550 women and mothers that work for the most important companies in Israel. And I don't have investor, I don't have the government, a little bit the government, but not enough. And the clients, the customers are the investor. And I have the tools to make good to the companies in Israel, because I especially work for profit only to give the profit to my employers, to my CEOs, not to me. I have enough. So this is how I do it, and I need 1 million to each company in the far periphery to change reality for a lot of women. And I have a little story. Now, I think before an hour, I got a picture of 5 children in Tzfat. In Tzfat, I have 40 Orthodox employees. And they sent me a picture with the children of those employees. They came to our office, and they wrote me, all the jobs, we do a perfect jobs, don't worry, but you are so this is the spirit.
For the audience, a million which currency? So a million
shekel. $1 million shekel, it's nothing. And I thought, okay, I want to be a startup nation like impact nation like the startup nation.
So I'll follow up from what you just said. Nadav said, if you didn't get what he said, help her. I'll translate Nadav into a spoken money language. I took the liberty to do that. Sir Ronald Cohen spoke here yesterday of turning Israel from a startup nation to an impact nation. A, can it be done? B, how should it be done, if so?
The one thing I took from this quite exceptional gathering here is the relationships between Israel and diaspora. And when I heard that my brother from another mother, Aryeh Mimbran, is going to spend more time in Israel seeking innovation, this is the breakthrough, or maybe the course we should take as a nation and as a people. Because if we can attract the brightest, by the way, the top investors and entrepreneurs to come to Israel, help the local ecosystem, but bring it abroad. Because the Mimbran has the connections worldwide to help Israeli connections. So our means, the collaboration between Israel and diaspora to take the best and brightest breakthroughs from Israel and spread it around in impact, in tech, in morality. I think this is the way to do it. And we are, again, back to the notion of the tribe. We're the same tribe, but we have part of our tribe everywhere. So working with the diaspora to come more and then send more abroad will help us to make an impact.
I think we're playing with terms here. Because my great-grandfather was Chaim Salomon. He founded what was called Tzala and then became Teva, which is the most successful Israeli corporation in the history of the state of Israel, at least in the past. And he didn't know, he knew nothing about impact. The term impact was not invented there. But he founded Teva because there was lack of medicine in Israel. Okay, and when the World War started, he started importing medicine from. He couldn't import any more medicine from Germany, so they started manufacturing medicine in Israel. And also your ancestors, and we know that I've heard many stories of other people. We need to go into self-remembrance and understand the true purpose of businesses. And the true purpose of businesses is bringing good to the world. By the way, Lior, which is my cousin, also is a cousin of Chaim Salomon. Lior? I was in his panel, he's not in mine, you see. So, and I think what we should truly understand is just turn the shift, because we need to remember that most businesses, most startups are not considered impact. But if we move and shift and look at the purpose of the business itself, and we're the nation of purpose, yeah? Okay? The purpose of the Israelites. If we look at any business from a purpose perspective, then the true revolution will happen. And then we can tell ourselves, then we're an impact nation. Okay? Yeah.
So, Hannah, last words from you, because our time is up.
I see.
And,
So I would like to quote Herzl. It's okay?
but I want to, I'll ask you and then you do whatever you
Okay.
want. Anyway,
נכון.
you know, from other people's nations, someone said 50 years ago, I have a dream, he has a dream. Herzl here dreamt 125 years ago. If I gave you the freedom to dream 10, 20, 50 years forward, what's your vision?
Okay, my vision, of course, for women, we are 51%, and we are only 5% CEOs. So I would like us to be 50%, it's okay, a CEO. And I would like that the far periphery will succeed. I would like a lot of quality jobs in the far periphery, and I don't want they travel 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours from, and it's also good for the climate and so on. I don't want them to drive so much. I want that Israeli will succeed with the far periphery. And now we have tribes. One is the center, one is the periphery, and we have to decrease the gap between the center and the periphery.
And now your quote. You forgot your quote.
Yeah, oh, sorry.
You see, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Herzl said, if you will it, it's no dream. So you can be my clients, my investor, and my partners, and then you will it. And you don't have to dream it. Thank you.
So, Hannah Rado, you can be our partner. You should. And I want to thank you, Hannah, and Yoel, and Nadav for joining us today. Thank you very much.